Today's lesson is about preparing a monthly budget. A budget is about planning ahead. We see an illustration of this in the scriptures in the chapter Matthew 25 verses 1 through 8. 5 of the virgins planned ahead by buying adequate oil to meet the bridegroom, and 5 did not. So similar to that, we want to make sure that we plan to spend our money ahead of time so that we can have adequate money to cover our expenses. A budget has to be written down. It has to be written down because you want to know, you want a record of where your money is going. You want a record of how much money you had and what you did with it so that you can compare your plan to what actually happened. You also want it written down because you want it to be like a map. You want a map of where your money should be spent. A budget has 3 major components: income, expense, and then your savings or your balance. Now the expense component has 3 major categories: essential, fixed, and these are for expenses that are essential, such as your rent, your insurance. They're essential to your livelihood, and yet they are fixed because they're the same amount every month. Then it has essential variable expenses. These are expenses that are essential, such as your gas, your groceries, your lunch money. They're essential, but they vary because you can change them. I mean, the price of gasoline goes up and down. Your groceries can vary depending on whether you're able to catch sales or not. So you can control them somewhat. And then there are non-essential expenses such as recreation, vacation expense. Now these expenses, they should be budgeted also because you want to make sure that you have covered them. If you're going to take a vacation, you want to make sure that vacation is paid for ahead of time. So you have to include them in your monthly budget. By the time you take the vacation, it's paid for. So now let's look at an actual budget. So let's look at a monthly budget. We see the first category or the component of income. In this example, income is $4,000. Now this could be a combination of incomes. It could be 2 paychecks, it could be child support, it could be retirement income. Think about all the income that you're going to receive for the month and combine it into the income line. Now this is income that you actually can rely upon. The second category or component is expenses. Now we see where the expenses are categorized by whether they're essential, fixed, essential flexible, or non-essential. In this case, tithes are an essential fixed because the income is fixed. And it's also essential because this family thanks the Lord for giving them an income. Then there's rent mortgage. Your rental payment or mortgage payment is usually the same every month. So that's why it's classified as a fixed essential expense. And there's insurance. The first flexible expense is the utilities. Utilities vary by month. In some cases they are fixed. I mean, you can have a bundle package where it's fixed. So if your utilities are fixed, classified as fixed. Then there are non-essential items such as recreation and entertainment. These items do have to be budgeted also. I mean, it's fine to spend your money on recreational items, but you want to make sure that you cover your essential expenses first. Then you want to make sure you budget your recreational expenses because you don't want to overspend. In this illustration, after the essential, fixed, and flexible and the non-essential expenses are paid, this person has $220 left over for savings. Now this may be good, this may be bad. If your goal is to save more every year, then you have to find some way to cut your expenses. So this is why you want a budget to be laid out. You want to see where the money is actually going. Other things might occur during the month where you have to make cuts. Where can you cut? You probably can't cut your rent, can't cut your insurance. What can you cut? You start cutting your non-essential items first. So that's the importance of laying everything out so you can see where everything is going. This concludes part 1 of budgeting. For more detailed information, get the book 10 Biblical and Business-Based Principles to Manage and Grow Your Money. It is available on Amazon.com. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for listening.